Hello everyone. In our previous videos of the Learn Python series, we discussed about NumPy and Matplotlib. Today we are going to show you some amazing patterns using for loop. These are creative uses of loops that will help you understand various programming techniques. It's really fun to create different patterns using just a simple for loop, nothing else. So let us start. So first we will input and we'll write enter a number. So what pattern are we going to make is if n is equal to 2, then it should be printed 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. And if n is equal to 3, then it should be printed 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equals to 6. So this is the pattern. Now we will take a variable sum whose value is 0 and we will use for loop for I in range 1 comma n plus 1, and then we'll write sum is equal to sum plus I, and we will print I comma n is equal to this. If I is less than n, then it should print a plus sign. I'm putting a space in int because if we do not do so, it will by default print it in the next line. I'll explain you this again. So at the last, we will print the final value of sum. So let us go. Um, okay. Let the number be 5, and you can say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15 is printed. So what we have done in this program is we have taken a range of 5 from 1 to n plus 1, where n plus 1 is excluded. So the value of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in this case because our n is 5. Then sum is initially 0 and sum equals to sum plus I. So when I is 1, sum will be 0 plus 1, which is 1. Then it will print 1. Now the next condition is if I is less than n. So our I is 1 right now and n is 5. So 1 is less than 5 indeed. So it will print plus sign. And then it will again go to this for loop and I will be 2 and so on like this. When I will be equal to 5, this I is less than n condition will get false and it will look for the else condition, which is to print equal to. So here a equal to is printed. Now what this n means, we have given this n equals to space after plus sign. So after every plus sign we can see a space, empty space. Also after equal to we can see this empty space, and then at the last we have printed the final sum, which is 15 in this case when n is equal to 5. Okay, so let us see our another program, which is to make a half pyramid. So we have already entered the number, have taken our input, and let me show you. This is the half pyramid which we need to make. So we need to observe this very carefully. If we consider this first line as I equals to 1, then second line as I equals to 2, then 3, 4 and 5, then we can see that in the very first line only one star is there, in second line 2 stars are there, in third line 3 stars are there, and so on. So it means a particular line having ith value contains only I number of stars. Means the number of stars is equal to the number of line. So when I is 3, the 3 stars are printed. I is 5, then 5 stars are printed. So we will use this here. So first we'll use the for loop for I in range from 1 to n plus 1, and we will print I into stars. Let us run this. Let the number be 5 again, and you can see a half pyramid. You can also try this with other number like 10. You can see in 10th line 10 stars are printed. Okay, so let us make a full pyramid now. Full pyramid. Let me show you an example. You can see this is a full pyramid. Again, we need to observe this carefully. So I can see they're going in odd numbers: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So for the very first line, it is 1. For second, it is 3. When I is equals to 3, then it is 5. So you can observe this. This is 2i minus 1. Odd numbers can be written as 2i minus 1. So when I is 1, 2 into 1 minus 1, which is 1. When I is 2, then 2 into 2 minus 1, which is 3. And if you see the number of spaces, then we can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 spaces are given before the very first star. So 4 spaces, okay. If we see the second one, there are 3 spaces. If we see the third one, there are 2 spaces. Then you can realize these spaces are n minus I. N is 5 here, and I is the number of line. So for the very first line, 4 spaces because 5 minus 1. For the second line, 5 minus 2, which is 3. And so on like this. Okay, so we can implement this now. For I in range 1 comma n plus 1, a colon sign, and then print n minus I into space. N is equal to space, and print is equal to 2 into I minus 1, and it will be multiplied to the stars. Okay, so let's go again. N is equals to 5, and we can see a full pyramid here. So it is too easy to make these patterns if you observe them carefully. Next thing is to make a reverse pyramid. So a reverse pyramid is like this. So it is just the reverse of the full pyramid. So we have already seen that here here it will be 4 spaces. It will be 3, 2, and 1, so on like this, and they are printed in odd numbers. Just that you need to reverse them. So we just need to reverse the number of stars printed. For I in range n comma 0 comma minus 1, that is the range will be from n to 0 with a difference of minus 1. So it will, if our n is 5, it will go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on, like this. Okay, so we will write space into n minus I, because again we need to give n minus I spaces, and we can put here print is 2 into I minus 1. Again the same thing which we had done above, into the stars. Okay, so let's go. So you can see our reverse pyramid here. The next thing to make is a hollow pyramid. Hollow pyramid. So let me show you the figure of hollow pyramid. So you can see this is a hollow pyramid. You can make this line as well to complete this. Okay. So let us write the program. And is equal to this, and separator is equal to this. We need to write like sep equals to empty, because if we do not write so, then it will assume a space there itself. I can show you that after removing separator. First write like this, then n minus j, and then there will be a star, and then we will write 2 into j minus 1, and then we will write separator equals to empty. At the last we will print that line also, so we can write 2 into n plus 2. So it will be like this, star will be printed these many times. So let us run this. So you can see a hollow pyramid here. So what we have written is, first we have printed n into space. So we have already discussed that should be n spaces here. And then we have started the for loop from the second line, because in the first line we have only one star, from the second line we have two stars. So we have started, we have not taken the first star in the for loop, we have just made a star after n places simply by printing it. Now we start the for loop for j in range 1 to n plus 1. So it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be the values taken by j. Then we will print the space n minus j times. So here when n is 5 and j is 1, it means 4 spaces will be printed before this. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can see 4 spaces are printed, and then we have printed a star. We have printed a star here. Then 2 into j minus 1. So j is 1 right now, so it means 1. 2 into j minus 1 is 1, so it means there will be one space here, then will be a star. And like this it will go on. For j equals to 2, it will be 3 spaces here, as you can see, and it will be 3 spaces between the stars 1, 2 and 3. You can see like this, 1, 2 and 3, and then a star is printed. If I remove this separator, then it will automatically take it as a space and to not be printed correctly. As you can see here, this hole has been shifted here because it automatically has taken a space. So it is important to write the separator. Okay, so we have already written this one. Let's move ahead. And next is to print the double-sided staircase pattern. Let me show you the double-sided staircase. So this one is a double-sided staircase, and as you can see, 2 2 4 4, then 6 6 8 8, and like this, stars has been printed to make a staircase. You can observe that first and second line are same, third and fourth line are same, and so on. So these lines are in pairs. So if we see this, before the first line there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces. 4 spaces are here when n is 5. So n is 5 and there are 4 spaces, and this is the first line. So this means n minus I spaces should be left before the stars are printed. If we see the number of stars, then it is 2i, because 2 into 1 is 2, then 2 into 2 is 4. But 2 into 2 is 4 and it is the third line. So better we can take this as I equals to 2, this is I equals to 1, and then this as I equals to 3. Because again we need to print this, so we can print this again. Let me show you how. For I in range 1 comma n plus 1, then we will print space into n minus I times n is equal to this, and then we will print 2 into I into star, and then we'll repeat this. So letter number be 5, and as you can see, a staircase is printed here. So when I equals to 1, spaces will be, when I n is 5, spaces will be 4, and there are 4 spaces here. Then 2i, that is 2 stars are printed, and again this program will be repeated, and so this second line is printed. Then it will go to the for loop and I will be 2, and so on like this. Okay, so let us move to our next program, which is to make solid V in U shape. So solid V in U means this one. So this is solid V in U. This is a V in U. Okay. So for this, you can write for I in range 1 comma n plus 1, we will print I into the stars, then 2 into n minus 2 into I times the stars, and then I into again stars. Let it be 5 again, and you can see a V in Q shape. So what we have done here is we have taken a for loop, and I is from 1 to n plus 1. So 1 to 6, and 6 is excluded, so 1 to 5 here because n is 5. And then we have printed I times this star. So when I is 1, the star will be printed once, as you can see here. This is I equals to 1 line. And then 2 into I minus 2 I stars are printed. Because we have given a comma here and we have not written anything like separator is equal to empty. So it has by default taken a space here, and then 2n minus 2i, which is 10 minus 2, which is 8. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 stars, and then again a space because of the comma, and then I into the star. So I is 1, so 1. When I is 2, then it has 22 stars, 3, 4, 3, my bad, 3, then 4 and 5, and so on like this. Similarly, it has printed it here, and this pattern is 2n minus 2i. Now if you want to make hollow V and U shape, then we will write for I in range. Range will be from 1 to n plus 1 again, and then we will put the condition if I is equal to n, then we will print 2 into I plus 2 stars, else we are gonna print I into star in, and 2 into n minus 2 into I spaces. We can put this in bracket and then a comma, and then we will again print the stars I number of times. Okay, so let us run this. NB5 again, and you can see a solid V in U shape. So on this we have given I range from 1 to n plus 1 again. N is 5, so it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I is n, then it will print this line. It means it will print this line when I is equal to n. Else it will print the I times star like this. I equals to 1, 1 star, I equals to 2, 2 stars, and so on like this. Then it will print 2n minus 2i spaces. So this is 2n minus 2i spaces. You can calculate. And then I into star again. So when I is 1, it will be 1 star, and so on like this. So the next program is to make a half pyramid with alphabets. So it has two parts. One is to make with small alphabets, and one will be capital. So let it be small for the first time. So let me show you this. This is a full pyramid with small alphabets. So this is somewhat similar to the full pyramid we made with stars, just that we need characters here, or the alphabets here. So for that we can write for I in range 1 comma n plus 1. Then we will print n minus I spaces and sorry space, and then end is equal to empty. Now we'll start another loop in which we'll write for I in range 1 comma 2 into I, and here we will print the characters. For that we'll use CHR. So you can see it is written here CHR character. So you can read this as well. And 96 plus J comma end is equal to empty, and then we will see this. Okay, so you can see it has been printed in the same line. So we can just write like this here. And again, if we enter a number, and you can see the full parameter. So again, we have taken I from 1 to n plus 1, and we have printed in minus I spaces as we have already discussed in the previous patterns, and then we have taken another loop J in which we have printed these alphabets A, then ABC, then ABCDE. So you can see, let me show this here. Okay, and also can give n as 5 here so that we do not have to input it again and again. So if I write here print CHR 97, then you can see here A is printed. And if we write here 98, first let me just, okay, so now if we print this, you can see B is printed. So 97 is small a, 98 is small b, and so on like this. Let us move to the capital alphabets full pyramid. I'm sorry, it's not have, it's a full pyramid here. So full pyramid with capital alphabets, capital letters. Here, we can input the same program. Just have to edit it a bit. And here it is pasted. You can see here we will just write 64 plus J. You can also print the letters here, like print CHR and 65. You can also print CHR 67. We can see 65 is A, 66 is B, 67 is C. So these are the capital letters. And you can see a full parameter here. Let me comment this and run it again. So you can see a full parameter is formed with capital alphabets. Now next program is to make a half pyramid with numbers. Half pyramid with numbers. Here's an example. So in the very first line, only 1 is printed and only once. In second line, 2 is printed and twice. It is printed twice. Then 3 is printed thrice in the third line, and so on like this. So you can observe this pattern. And now let us write this. For I in range 1 comma n plus 1, for j in range 1 comma I plus 1, and then we will print I comma end is equal to this, and then we will print blank also. And here you go. This is printed half pyramid with numbers. First we have taken the range of I, and then we have taken a range of j, then we have printed I. Why? Because we had to print 2 the number of times 2, and in which line 2. So if let us understand this with an example. For I equals to 1, it will be for j in range 1 comma 2. So 2 is excluded, so j will be 1. So print I. So I will be printed once, and then this blank space. And then for I, blank space means it will be printed in the next line. For I in range, then it will be 2. I will be 2 here. Then j will be from 1 to 3. So j will be 1 comma 2. So print I. So when j will be 1, I will be printed which is 2. When j will be 2, then again I will be printed which is 2, and then it will move to the next line, and so on like this. The loop will move on. Okay, so next is a full pyramid with numbers. So let us see an example. So this is a full pyramid with numbers. So it 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So odd numbers are printed. I mean odd number of times, and 3 times here, 5 times here, 5 numbers. Then first 7 numbers, then first 9 numbers. So like this. So for I in range 1 comma n plus 1, print n minus I times the spaces, then end is equal to empty, and then we will use for loop for j in range 1 comma 2 into I, then a colon sign, and then we will print j. We will also print here empty. There is some error here, and what is it? Okay, we had not printed this, I mean we have not written this braces. Okay, so now the full pyramid with numbers is formed. When I will be 1, spaces will be 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 spaces will be printed. Then j is given a range from 1 to 2, so j will be 1. So 1 will be printed here. Then it will go to the next line. Then I will be 2. Then 5 minus 2 spaces will be printed, and then they will go from 1 to 3. because 4 is excluded, so 1, 2 and 3, and so it will go again to the next line and so on. I hope you understood all these patterns. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Happy coding!